Thank you, Azuma. Guys, I'm Kame-Senin. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Game Over Cancer, presenting a Mega Man 2 randomizer race between bobdedbuilder, megakyle83, squidman, and StuffnThings. This version of the randomizer was made for a tournament, but we have disabled tournament mode so that we could actually go and hide the stage names. This is actually how the randomizer originally worked, but we're hiding stage names once again, just for the fun of it, to see what all can go on here and what all can go wrong. But hopefully we've got a decent seed for everybody here. Hopefully we're not going to have too many snags, and hopefully it won't be too easy either. But for anybody here who's new to the randomizer, it randomizes a lot of things in this game. It doesn't just randomize the color palettes of the stages or the weapons or the bosses, but I mean it randomizes the music, it randomizes enemy health values and weaknesses, boss weaknesses, it randomizes the fake platforms in Wily 4. It randomizes weapon behaviors. It randomizes a ton of things here. So you guys are going to see a lot of things, anybody who's not familiar with it, that you're probably not used to seeing in Mega Man 2. That's for sure. But if we have the green light here, we can get going on the countdown any minute here.
And I just want to say, in addition to Kame doing commentary today, I'm Daggett, and I'm joining as well.
So we are good to go whenever you guys things are out.
Good luck. Good
Okay, well then I suppose I'll get myself out of the gatekeeper position here, and we have a countdown. 10 seconds and the race will begin, everyone. Once again, the stage names are hidden. The racers have no idea what stage is where. Typically, they would see the stage names and they would decide a route more or less based on how easy it is to obtain an E-tank or how quick a stage is to try to get a weapon and look for items 1, 2, and 3, because they really want those. And it looks like we definitely have variation in paths here for sure, which is what we want to see.
I got lucky.
I already
So
reset.
fan.
Oh, I got so unlucky I had to reset.
Yeah, and our runners are allowed to reset, but once they finish the stage, they probably won't want to, because it's probably better to game over or just power through a stage once you've completed one.
Exactly. The resets are kind of a limited thing in the sense that they don't want to have to keep doing it, because obviously it's going to cost them time. But if they pick a certain stage first, that could cost them even more time than the reset by far, even if they just want to get game over and get out of there. So for the first stage at least, they usually want to make sure they get at least not the worst pick.
And what are our problem stages, Kame?
Well, we definitely don't want Crash. We definitely don't want Heat. I would say on average people probably don't want Air, but it's definitely the lesser of three evils in my opinion.
Yeah, I think the pretty much ideal starting stages are going to be Flash Man and Quick Man, maybe Metal Man. Although, as you can see, sometimes those stages are still challenging.
Yeah, there are definitely occasions where the metal stage is nearly impossible, but this doesn't seem to be exactly one of those occasions. It was a little hairy in the beginning here, but we also got Squidman in the Flash stage. You got lucky with that pick.
Got lucky.
That is the ideal. You either want Flash or Quick for your first stage, ideally.
Yeah.
Because it's really easy. It's almost guaranteed to get the E-tank on Flash every time. On Quick, it is guaranteed. You'll get the E-tank if you want it.
Yeah, and the E-tanks are definitely nice.
Oh my gosh, I'm getting super lucky. I swear, I did not play this.
Axe.
Too bad you didn't have your Mega Head and stuff.
Yeah, Squidman, if you had told me that you played this seed already, I would totally believe you at this point.
I really...
Because these stage picks are 100% ideal.
I basically picked the first 2 ideal starting stages, and that is completely random.
So as you can see on Squidman's screen there, he was able to just go to the right and drop down and grab that free E-tank. Whereas with Stuffin on Flash stage here in a little bit, as he gets to the bottom, you'll see there's a chance to maybe get or maybe not get every time you end up in the Flash stage, the E-tank. That's
I got
Also-
the stage.
Bob really clutching out that Crashman fight. He can be a tough one in the rando, because one of the things that happens is RoboMaster AI gets completely randomized, and you don't know how bosses are going to react, how fast they're going to fire, if they're going to do their normal jumps. Their jumps are going to be the normal size, any of that.
Yeah, basically everything about their AI is pretty randomized. I mean, there's a general basis for the AI that can't be touched by the randomizer, but the variables to the AI can definitely be messed with. So things like jump height or frequency of weapon fire or speed of weapon discharge, whatever. Like all those different things can definitely be randomized in the randomizer, so you never fully know what to expect. There's even things like with Bubble Man. He could be particularly huggy. We call him Huggy Bubble. He could
Huggles.
he could be very aggressive about getting to Mega Man's horizontal position, but he could also be rather passive, or he could only be aggressive on his way up, or only on his way down. There's a lot of a random factor there. It doesn't sound like much, but if you're used to playing the vanilla game, let me tell you, that little bit of variation will be the difference between life and death, even on easy mode in this thing.
So Bob's setting up a zip right now in Bubble stage. In Mega Man 2 and normal and the randomizer, you cancel out your vertical velocity when you bring up the menu. So he's able to sort of like get under a ledge there and get into the ceiling, and then the game wants to eject him from the ceiling, and it's going to do so at about, I think, 16 pixels a frame and 60 frames a second. So it sends him just across the level, as fast as possible.
Exactly, and being randomized, you never know just how much lag you might really be avoiding just in doing that zip on top of the time it regularly saves anyway. So it's always a good idea to go for it. If you have item 1 or 2, or no, not 2, I think 3, 1 or 3 you would need in order to do the zip a little bit faster. But
classic error.
That good, huh?
Haha, comment.
That awesome?
You're welcome, Squid.
Oh.
See, I told you you'd be thanking me.
The randomizer can be a little trolly in some of its seeds, so we actually had Kame vet the seed ahead of time to make sure that there wasn't anything too crazy in this one.
Yeah, I didn't run into any glitches. I didn't even feel like I came close. It seemed like a pretty clean seed. And it seemed somewhat balanced in terms of difficulty, but I can't really spoil that stuff yet.
These Mets might as well be Buster immune.
megakyle taking the safety route to get the one up there on metal stage. Can't say that I blame him.
Oh, I sure am.
Especially with
item 4 because we were.
What you encountered in the beginning of that stage there, I might have done the same thing. I don't blame you in the least.
So in addition to this game letting you pause to cancel out your vertical velocity and, save yourself in crazy situations, you can only bring up that menu and pause if you have nothing on the screen. So no bullets, no items, none of that stuff. And so you'll definitely see in certain places where our runners are like not using their weapons at all, specifically because they're planning on using the pause trick.
So what we have Bob doing down here is I believe it's called the Good Crash Zip. It looks like he pulled it off successfully. It's a weird little collision thing where you kind of zip yourself into the wall with item 1, and you run along to a certain point, and because the camera doesn't exactly display your position in the stage, you're actually able to reach the next checkpoint and then kill yourself off to immediately get to the checkpoint. So it's a pretty big time save, and you get to do the rest of the stage starting with full health there. You're skipping basically the platforms that we see StuffnThings doing here right now. Looks like he was unable to do the zip. Maybe he didn't have item 1, I'm not sure.
I do not.
Bob Whitney? What? When has this ever happened?
Hey, anything can happen, you know? We haven't hit Wily 4 yet. We all know that's the great decide.
Ooh.
Squid here going for the wood zip, or sorry, the Heatman zip. Wrong stage. That's also another great time saver because there's Yoku blocks which are not randomized, but there's Yoku blocks and pillars, and then enemies that are randomized in that section. And depending on what enemies you get in that section, it can be really hard to get through there. So that's in a lot of ways a safety trick.
These Mets are unkillable.
Gotta mash fast.
Has anybody else seen chickens?
I have. They are fantastic.
Has anybody not seen chickens?
They're fantastic.
Blame
I'm
Cam.
having KFC for dinner. Jeez.
They're only 3 shots. Come on, guys. That's like a quarter of a second of mashing. Actually, less.
When they're running straight towards you.
They're coming right for us.
You just kill every single one of them. Don't miss.
Yeah. Yeah, there's kind of a strategy to the chickens because when they die, they respawn. So, or when they run off the screen, they respawn. So sometimes it's better to let them run off the screen because you have longer where they're behind you and not a threat. And other times, if you can stay on top of them, you just want to mash them down and just shoot them all. Another thing our runners will have to figure out here is how to get through the crash barriers, because in Wily 4, to defeat that boss, the bosses themselves are behind the crash barriers, and sometimes you'll have a weapon that can shoot behind the barrier and hurt them, but most of the time you have to destroy the barriers. So one kind of strategy that comes up is people figuring out whether it's better to figure out the barrier ahead of time, or just wait until they get there and deal with it.
We have Squidman here doing an alternative little zip. I'm not sure if zip is even the proper term, but he used item 3 there to get himself to the top of the next screen. And he essentially skipped the first platform screen there by appearing at the top and managing to jump from platform to ladder as soon as possible there. It's definitely not as fast as the good crash zip, but it is an excellent alternative that saves a lot.
That's what happens when you don't have item 1.
Yeah, those elevator rooms can be really nasty at times.
Yeah, big oof when I saw Crash. I was like, ah.
That's actually very similar to a zip that we might get to see in Wily 4. Works the same way, where you sort of zip up the screen, I guess,
Nice.
and grab a ladder that's on the next screen.
I just did a little voodoo there. I had a tin can in front of me, and then I menued, and all of a sudden, after the menu, he was gone, and that was because the bird flew off screen. Bird despawns things for you.
Voodoo?
Voodoo?
Nah, I still think he has the power of the babe.
Ah.
You do.
Of course, all of our runners are very familiar with the Yoku pattern in Heatman.
Yeah, traditionally runners will use item 2 to clear right across that Yoku pit there, but having the unfortunate luck of not having item 2, luckily they are very familiar with the pattern and can easily just jump right across.
I'm just glad I had item 3. It's been a little bit of a savior.
Well, watching you guys use item 2 has been a godsend too, so...
Yeah, I saw you just used it to clear across the last part of Metal Stage there. That was pretty good. Nice and...
There's also a little trick here killing Woodman, which is, if you get close enough to him, you can actually shoot through his shield. It doesn't work as well if you play the normal game on the difficult setting, but for the randomizer, it's a fantastic way to kill him. It's
If you like
often better than using weapons.
if you like other games where shields don't matter, may I suggest Mega Man 5?
Nothing matters in Mega Man 5. Don't listen to him.
I got the stage I wanted. Do I get to go again?
Oh, Galaxy music,
you have to
Kame,
do it
I love
twice.
you.
Oh yeah, I was gonna tell you the best song ever is in this seed.
You're welcome.
This is my jam.
So I think we're what, 2 for 2 on the crash zip, or sorry, 2 out of 4 for the crash zip.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
didn't have item 1.
Bob and Mega Kyle both got the good crash zip. Stuffin had to wait out the whole platform section.
I had
Squidman
item
was,
3.
was able to skip the one screen.
So one of the nice things about the randomizer on this difficulty setting is the enemy drops are pretty generous. You can see Bob benefiting from that right now. He was down to about 4 health and now he's full again.
Right.
I'm not sure if that's because it's the randomizer or because they're playing on easy, which translates to normal, whereas difficult in the original game is very easy about the item drops. But
got mobbed by my
another
choice.
interesting thing, if you remember towards the beginning, I said that enemy weaknesses, not just boss weaknesses, were randomized. And I don't know if you guys noticed there, but Squidman was killing the Crushers with the Buster with one shot. I wouldn't point that out, but everybody's encountered those already by now, so they all know. There are other things going on that we haven't spoken about. Here's something here. Megakyle attempting this Mega Man 1 style ladder zip on the crash stage. You can actually go up, grab that health, and with very frame perfect input, you have to press down and press B and also release down within a single frame. Doesn't matter what you do with the B button, but as long as you're above a ladder and there's a ceiling above your head just like there was there, you can grab the ladder sort of high, like above the ladder, and as long as you're facing left when you press up, you'll zip to the right, so you're able to go right back to the right ladder there without having to drop back down. Unfortunately, he struggled a little bit to pull the zip off, but if you can pull that thing off quick, it is a nice... It's not exactly a time save because you went and grabbed health, but it is a time save over grabbing the health and going back down to get to the other ladder again.
Yeah, and actually one thing Kyle did there was using Quickman's weapon, which dramatically increases the window for timing the down and the fire to make that trick significantly easier.
Now I get to see what the fuss is about on Airman stage.
There we go.
Yes, Conster, we got some Mega Man X music in here. I couldn't list to you all the games that are included in here, but I mean, there's some X1, some X2, some X3, a lot of fan games and ROM hacks. There's all kinds of stuff in here. Basically, if it has an NSF file and the sound font matches Mega Man 2, then it can potentially be spliced in with the randomizer. And I forget the exact number of tracks that are possible to be put in here, but I do believe it is over 100 tracks that can potentially, that are selected from to apply to the stages in the
There's only a
randomizer.
limited number of space, though, so only a selection of tracks can be part of the rando. And that's why there's repeats.
Yes. I would love to see in the future if maybe there would be a customized option where you could pick what tracks that that would expand
I'd
the
love that.
possibility.
Aha.
Oh, baby.
Yeah, I think sometimes you get Bionic Commando music, sometimes you get some Final Fantasy is it 4?
Kirby's in there,
Fantasy 4
too.
music.
Yeah.
Dragon
Kirby,
Quest is
yeah.
in there as well.
People have remixed songs from later games, so you get, Mega Man 9 sometimes with Galaxy
Mega Man
Man?
4.
Yeah, there's 9, there's 10, there's 4, yeah, there's X1, 2, 3, there's X6, there might be X4, I'm not sure about X5 because I'm not familiar enough with it. There's a lot of stuff,
Bob.
it's impressive.
That's unfortunate.
Yeah. Thanks, Kame.
You're welcome, man. I'm here to help. For anybody who may be joining us, they're thanking me for their troubles because I vetted this seed for them. Made sure that they would have a lot of fun with it. Made sure to cater to everybody's strengths and weaknesses. Made it nice and balanced for them. I won't divulge how much the scales have tipped in which direction, but I made sure to cater to everybody's strengths and weaknesses.
So now pretty much everybody has a pretty good selection of weapons, and so you start to see a lot more fishing as people try to figure out what's the best situational thing. But of course they have no prior knowledge, and there's no correlation like, oh, this enemy was weak to a weapon, so I should use this on another enemy. So it's all just a guessing game.
Oh yeah, Water Heat Man is my favorite. I mean, who wouldn't want a waterproof Zippo? I mean, if you're stranded on an island, that is the tool you want. Trust me.
That was a laggy woodman.
Is this even randomized?
Slightly. We changed the name of the difficulty from normal to easy.
Oh, okay.
Oh, and the text is faster when you get weapons. Other than that, no, this is purely vanilla.
Brown chicken.
Brown cow.
Oh, you got the swag.
The swag.
Oh, that's why that's not okay.
We can see Stuffin really enjoying the beginning of Wood stage here.
Yeah,
The
that's
bird was kind enough to despawn that little
Yeah.
totem guy
The
there.
birds have been helping me out today.
I found when I was vetting it that they were helping me quite a bit too. I was actually strategically using birds a lot. So the thing about the birds, when they come on the screen, actually when they come off of the screen, they will despawn, I believe, the most recently spawned thing, which could be an enemy, it could be a drop from an enemy, whichever it may be. They'll actually despawn it along with themselves for whatever reason.
Does there
And if
be
you get those-
want to play the game that we usually play with our randos?
Oh, absolutely. We're getting to that point here where it's time to play dress.
Dress.
Guess the color of the
Dress
dragon.
the dragon.
Guess the color of
Dress
the
the
dragon,
dragon.
ladies and gentlemen, because the colors of all the other robot masters, if you noticed, were pretty randomized. So the dragon is no exception here, and neither is the alien. But since we have somebody in Wily 1, we're going to go ahead and guess the colors and weaknesses of the dragon.
I'm calling it Dress
I
the
am-
Dragon from now on, though.
I'm exempt from this though, because if I give my guess, it'll be a spoiler. But everyone else in the chat and here in the game here, feel free.
Purple, work the middle. Or weak the middle.
Nobody can speak tonight. It's okay.
Words are hard.
Has there been a stage that doesn't have chickens?
I think there was one somewhere.
I got a ground chicken too. I did it.
Brown chicken.
I jumped for no reason just to try to get the ground chicken.
Nice.
It's almost as good as wall chicken.
I prefer Kentucky Fried Chicken.
So, in terms of things that randomize, I think we forgot to mention item 1, its attributes get randomized, but item 2 and 3, its attributes do not get randomized. And then the attributes of all the other weapons, other than Buster, get randomized. So, a quick boomerang might do something weird, Metal Blade might be fast, might be slow. And it's a different set of attributes than the Robomasters have between Mega Man and the Robomasters. So Mega Man's
I'm guessing
Metal
hot
Buster
pink,
might
by
be
the way.
super slow.
Always hot pink.
Oh, and green. Green dragon.
I was
I see
very
in
wrong.
the chat here, we have a $10 donation from Not on Twitch. Thank you very much, Not on Twitch.
Lucky.
So the dragon's a pretty dangerous fight. If the dragon touches you, you're dead. It's the same as spikes. If you get hit, you're probably going to fall in the pit and die. Most of the time in Mega Man 2, if you double KO on a boss, you're okay, except the dragon. You fall in a pit. Doesn't matter if you double KO. So Squid,
Yeah,
Squid
if
gets through
you
it, though.
don't fall in a pit, I believe a double KO will still result in a victory. But if you fall in a pit, the game just results in taking a death for you and going back to your most recent checkpoint, or game over, whichever.
That's correct. In the refights, so in Wily 5, when you fight the Robomasters again, double KO does not go in your favor. But in most other situations, it does.
Yeah, and I believe the reason for that is that you have to actually touch the teleporter for it to do away with the teleporter in the main room.
Yeah, I think there's a couple differences with the refights for whatever reason. So normally when a health drop spawns, it doesn't have a hitbox until it hits the ground. But I think in the refights they have a hitbox even in the air, which is kind of unusual. So there's I don't know. It seems like they maybe had to program the refights differently than some other parts of the game.
Yeah, it has a very weird hitbox. It is in the air, but only so far, and like there's specific distances that might be based on subpixels where you can still get through. It's really, really awkward. And depending on your height, if the health drop is on a teleporter, you may or may not receive the health drop before you get teleported. It's very strange how it all works out.
And Squid, it looked like you were going to check the barrier and then you noped out. Is that right?
Oh,
Oh,
no.
he checked and he found it.
Oh, we did. Okay.
Yeah, he took him 2 tries, but he did find. That's going to come into play later on in Wily 4 for that Boo Beam trap boss that Daggett was talking about earlier, where you need to find the weakness to the crash barriers more often than not.
So this Pico fight is also another really dangerous fight because touching Pico does a ton of damage to Mega Man, and this is definitely a situation where if it's at all close, you E-tank.
Yeah. Do not hesitate to E-tank. I know they're crutches. I call them crutches. But take a crutch.
Yeah, Death to Pico is particularly bad.
Ooh, that should be Death to Cordy's new name. Death to Pico. I'm smelling another alt.
So do you use a crutch for your face because it's necessary?
Oh, this music though. Oh, thank you.
Squid, slow down.
I'll fill this just in case.
Of course, it's one of the last things I check.
Oh! Sneaky.
Did you die?
No, I did not.
Oh. Oh, good, yeah.
Oh, yeah. I hear the concern in your voice.
That's exactly what he was hoping to hear.
I don't remember if Kyle checked the barrier, but I think most people have figured it out at this point.
He had just checked it. I didn't catch if he found it or not, but I'm still not going to spoil it because I don't think everybody knows it.
Hey, Greg.
So the Lightning Lord there that Squidman just went past, the guy on the cloud platform, we mentioned before that the birds will make things disappear, the most recent thing to spawn. One weird combination that you kind of don't want to get in the randomizer is those Lightning Lords and the birds, because they will make them visibly disappear, but they won't make the hitbox disappear, and so you can end up in some really weird situations when those two appear in the same stage.
Get equipped with item 3 because it was free.
Alright, so Squid is starting Wily 4. This is pretty much the hardest stage in the game. It's precise platforming. You can end up with some really bad enemy patterns in the elevator rooms. The boss itself is quite challenging. Although, I would argue that in the randomizer, the boss is a little bit easier than vanilla, on average.
I blame Cam.
Always blame Kame. That guy, oh man, I'll tell you. I don't know where you guys found him from, but something has to be done about him.
So the holes in Wily 4 are randomized, so we're going to see Squid do a zip here. Very similar to the zip someone did in Crash.
That was also Squid.
I did both.
That fancy item 3 zip that just carries you to the top of the next screen.
Whoa. Oh my gosh. Okay.
Yeah, this is one of the only games where Mega Man can grab ladders that aren't visible on the screen, or when Mega Man is off screen. You can also
Well, he
do
can
it
also grab them
Mega
off
Man
screen
1.
in Mega Man 1.
Yeah.
The first two games are basically the same engine. There's very, very slight differences in very, very minimal things, but they're essentially the same engine.
Squid using the pause trick again so that he can move in the air.
Yeah, you gotta love that pause trick. Just resets your velocity and gives you a little bit of
So
extra
useful.
time to get.
I wish it was
Best-
in every
best
Mega Man
trick.
game.
Me too, honestly.
Bob strats for the.
Yeah,
Well,
the
let's see
duration of Time Stopper is randomized in this as well.
Yeah, it can be like a short time per usage, or it could be a single usage wastes the entire thing. But yeah, either way, the duration is randomized. And if it uses the entire bar in a single usage, then the way that the duration is randomized is really more in how much of the bar is consumed per second. So, Bob, is this randomized?
Yes. You know better. You answer a question that's obviously right. I'm going to say the opposite.
I just had a heart attack.
And of course, we all know the correct routing in the randomizer for refights is counterclockwise.
That is correct.
Clockwise is what I heard.
No comment.
Well, for Daggett, it depends on whether he's doing well or not.
Yeah, I always end up going clockwise. What's with that? This is very close between Kyle and Stuff.
That's right. I forgot. Squid's here, so only second place matters.
Oh,
He'll Squid, man.
if I was smart, I could have done that fast.
I'm sorry, Squid. You know I only pick on you because I like you.
Yeah, Metal Man this time. He has those Blades of Death. They spawn and they're on the other side of the screen.
Yeah, we can see Squidman more or less as he goes through these refights. He's just not really bothering too much, and he's probably going to make me a liar here. No, he's not bothering with the health pickups because it's so much faster to just take an E-Tank when you need it, when you have so many, as opposed to picking up all of the health drops. The time loss of picking up so many health drops is way greater than using an E-Tank or two. Especially if you have to go out of your way to collect them, as opposed to just walking straight to the teleporter.
Mm-hmm.
But depending on what you have for health refills available, or how unsure you are of being able to take another hit in the next boss room, sometimes you might just want to grab the health drop. It's a little bit of a game of strategy every step of the way in the refights here. It's always interesting.
Oh,
Because you just never know what you're going to do.
Damageless, yes.
thanks, Kame.
You're welcome. I did that for you. You gotta love that dumb crash we just saw on Stuffn's screen. That's probably my favorite boss that we've
Yeah,
ever
when he
come
just
across.
strolls around.
Yeah, we lovingly call him Dumb Crash. In the initial fight with him during the stages, you can mostly just dispatch him without him ever jumping and firing. Maybe once, depending on which flavor of Dumb Crash you have. In the refights, there's something interesting that happens with probably more than one boss, but I know Crash Man for sure. His aggressiveness is a little increased on the first cycle. He's much more likely to jump and shoot a lot sooner on the first cycle. So even a dumb crash, even the dumbest crash in the refight, you'll see him do his jump and shoot at least once, unless you know and have his weakness equipped already. Then maybe not.
Squid doing kind of a careful zip here. If he goes past the door trigger, he has to take a death. The game will only load the boss fight if you stop on the exact pixel. So most people get close to the door and then wiggle their way towards it.
Yeah, and we forgot to play our second game, which is to guess the color of the alien, but I guess we know now.
I'm gonna say, we haven't played that game.
And Squidman finishes first. GG, man. He has an official SRL time of
GG.
33:39.
Wow, that's really good for hiding no stage names.
I agree.
Wow,
Thanks,
right.
guys.
GG. Good job.
I got.
Still got a good race between Kyle and Stuff. They're one fight apart.
Yeah, it could go either way, honestly. I know it looks one-sided, but we've seen some crazy things happen, especially during that tournament last year. We've seen where there's a gap like this, and then it comes down to a frame or two where the final victor is decided.
All right, are you guys gonna zip into the alien chamber?
No. I don't even know how to do that one.
It's a myth.
It's easy.
Zipless for life.
It's easy.
I don't believe in that because I can't do it Buster only.
In fact, you tell us we're always cheating.
Well, yeah, you guys never believe me, but I mean the proof is in the videos. I know.
Here, let me put this emote in chat to tell you how that zip is.
Is it the pickle emote?
It's ease.
It's easy.
Yeah, so Bob not even gonna deal with those mystery holes in Wily 4. Just use an
Oh,
item
but Mega Kyle's gonna go for this.
Easy.
And he's in.
Yeah, you've been, yeah. Good job.
That wiggles harder than it looks.
Yeah. It is. It's pretty perfect.
GG stuff.
GG
Alright,
stuff.
GG, man. And StuffnThings finishes with an official SRL time of 35:45. Nice stuff.
Thanks, guys.
GG. Oh, Mega Kyle, you're just on his heels.
Oh, right
Yeah,
there.
he was. He
GG,
pulls it
Kyle.
off. Finishes. Mega Kyle's finished with an official SRL time of 36:06.
GG, Kyle.
Very nicely done. Yeah.
GG.
Thank you.
I think a few things we might want to mention is Duckfist created the randomizer, so thank you to him for that. And if this looks fun and interesting, we're always looking for more people to join us. We usually race on Sundays, 7 p.m. Pacific.
In fact, we're probably going to be racing a couple after this.
Yeah,
I'm gonna go make
come join
dinner
us.
after this, unfortunately.
I'll stick around for a couple more races.
Sweet.
Yeah, so this is not a really bad race, I gotta say. Anybody have any comments about the race as far as everything before the Boo Beam fight?
Chickens are stupid.
I agree.
They were everywhere.
The machine is supposed to be Buster Week every time.
Yeah, that too.
I was actually hoping that we wouldn't get a Buster Week machine.
Yeah, me too, actually.
So I'm glad that happened.
Yeah, I made sure that was honestly my number one concern. Believe it or not.
Boobies.
Oh yeah, thank you, Creed.
I can still PB.
Yeah, Bob, I was gonna say, you're on pretty good pace, aren't you?
I am a minute and a half behind. I start at 3.5 minutes behind.
Nice.
But-
I'd say getting around a 40 in the randomizer on easy is pretty respectable. So if you're just starting out, you get to a point where you can get a 40 in the randomizer. Like, yeah, I think it's pretty good. It's a good
Yeah,
score.
that's a good milestone.
Yeah, good milestone. Yeah.
I'm almost there. Yeah.
But, when we race this every week, it's a pretty casual thing. Like, we happen to use a SRL just to keep track, but, like, we're just doing it to have fun
Yeah.
and hang out. And so don't feel like you have to get good or something before you can join us.
And make fun of my face. That's like usually.
That's the
That
second.
is
That-
something you
That
do
is a
have to
tradition,
do.
is to make fun of Stuff's face.
Stuffs.
Oh man, I,
mean-
thought it was
That too.
Oh, I feel squid, man.
Also, if you got E-tanks, you better use them. That's all I'm saying.
Oh yeah, that's rule number 2.
It's so casual. Jenny races sometimes. That's what she said in chat.
Ouch.
It really is pretty friendly to all skill levels, though. I mean, because it's such a casual thing, it doesn't matter who wins. It really has no bearing who wins, and people that come in new to it, we'll offer tips and whatnot as we go through it. We're not going to just leave you dead in the wind trying to figure out what's going on. It's a very welcoming weekly thing that we do.
Squid wins so often that we just stop keeping track. I mean, that's really what it comes
Yeah,
down
well,
to.
like I said, it only matters who gets second place. So GG stuff.
these last-
No, I'm kidding.
These last couple of weeks when Squid's been obsessed with Game of Chairs have been wonderful. I mean, we missed it.
I've been busy watching Game of Thrones on Sunday lately, so I have not been participating in the weekly randos when they are scheduled.
Squidman, sponsored by.
Yeah, sponsored by HBO apparently now. If you're listening, call me.
Yeah, they're so watching right now.
I'm sure that Twitch is not a competitor in any way, shape, or form.
I guess since you guys are done, I found out that Airman's weapon was Airman's weakness.
Oh, I didn't.
Oh.
You could say he needed a little air.
Wow,
The old-
check that out. What was that, 4 or 5 shots?
Yeah, that was good.
Nice.
Beautiful.
Creed.
Nice.
Hashtag Squid for HBO sponsorship.
Nice.
Hashtag
right.
squid your enthusiasm.
This is Squid Your Enthusiasm. I love it. Oh my gosh.
Oh man, that show
God.
writes itself.
This is great. All these, I love them. Squid Your Enthusiasm. I love it.
Just Bob realizing it's not a time to be stingy with those
Z-Tank.
tanks.
This is what I save them for when the machine is not Buster Week, and you have to fish for weapons. You need an E-tank or two.
Oh yes, I do. Maybe 3 sometimes. It's pretty
Bubble
rough for me.
machine.
The dragon and the machine. If they're not Buster vulnerable, then I'm gonna have a bad time. That's all I know.
Buster only.
Bustin' make me feel good.
Yeah, what can I say? Buster makes me feel good.
All right, bring us home, Bob. You got Victory Road.
Yeah, this
We're
is a good
counting
run for
on
Bob,
you.
yeah.
Strat. Strat.
We all have to be just as silent as the music in the stage here.
I know, right? Wait, I can do the drops.
Everybody talks about that Wily 1 theme, but it's really the Wily 6 theme.
The Wily 6 theme is definitely the one for me.
I'll get this.
Absolutely.
Little Bob's watching from the couch, eating his cheese nips.
Nice.
Yeah, the Wily 1 theme is a lot more negative in my mind. You know, it just spells impending doom. Na-da-da to the dragon, na-da-da to the dragon.
I love this.
Oh, don't tell
So
me.
this is where you got. Yes, Charlie.
I'm sorry, Charlie. Are you racing yourself?
Alright.
Charlie races himself a lot.
We abandoned him. We're very
Feels
bad
Bob,
friends.
man.
Oh no, Bob.
What?
Oh.
But the E-tanks, no.
I
No,
didn't.
he has no ammo.
Oh,
No
Oh.
ammo.
Right.
It's Crash, isn't it?
No.
Ammo whammo.
One
Well, you
minor
get-
change from vanilla.
No,
There's a few
nope.
places where you can get refills.
Bob,
Bob,
no.
you found it. Didn't you find it?
No. Not the.
Oh no.
Alright, you can still do it.
Uh-oh.
I don't think so. I went through everything.
You did actually
You
find his
did.
weakness.
But
Yeah,
you
you
found
just-
it.
you just
didn't
didn't
realize it.
Oh.
Good thing Oh,
Feels Bob,
Charlie.
man.
Heels squid sad.
He has. Oh man. Can't say anything.
Yeah, I know. Spoilers not allowed.
Charlie, you better be kidding.
Oh no.
It wasn't that. Wasn't that. Wasn't that. Okay. Are you kidding me?
Ruh-roh.
Oh.
I
Yep.
assure you, we are dead serious, sir.
Yep.
Okay.
And you're welcome.
One last you're welcome there.
What
So
can I
that's
say?
actually really convenient that that's a game over because that'll refill
Yeah.
all of Bob's weapons.
Yeah. It's actually a convenient game over.
It's a good game over.
It's an optimal game over. Bob knew what he was doing all along.
The
Yes.
game over cancer. Excellent. Good one, Maddox.
I'm gonna clap for Manic.
Yeah, that was good.
Totally should have used that screen to end the marathon. Okay, we're done. Cut.
Marathon over.
Rewind about 30 seconds and we are good.
At least a sub-hour.
Oh, you're fine, Bob.
Oh, is there anything else on deck, or is this the last?
We are
We're
the.
it.
We're it.
We're it.
Right.
My gosh.
Hey.
GG, Bob.
GG, Bob. Bob
GG,
finishes
Bob.
with an official SRL
Nice.
time of 46:16.
GG, guys.
GG's,
GG's
everybody.
all around.
You want to
Thanks,
say?
everybody.
Great
Thanks,
stuff,
Strizer and his crew.
You want to
for
say
doing
goodbye
this
to
marathon.
everyone? Come here. Hurry. Just
Is
leave.
that little Bob?
Yes. Come here. Just put down your cheese nips.
Yeah, that was a great race, you guys. You all did well.
Want to say goodbye to everybody?
What?
Say goodbye.
Bye bye.
Bye bye, little Bob.
All right, just to recap briefly, we had Squidman taking it in first place with a time of 33:39. StuffnThings not far behind him in second place with a 35:45. And then megakyle83 taking third place with a 36:06. And bobdedbuilder finishes in fourth with a time of 46:16. Everybody did pretty good here. This was a fun race for me to watch. I hope everybody else had fun with it as well.
Yeah, good times.
Appreciate everybody gathering together to put on this show for us. Shout outs to Strizer for putting this thing on and everybody involved, Ozma as well for introducing everybody like that.